working, sort of. Okay. He's gotten all of the pitching that he could ever ask for. Unfortunately, they can't hit.
I can't stand him.
No?
I don't like him as a coach.
Well, he's the general manager of the team. But were you talking about Gonzalez?
I have no idea what I'm talking about. But this is every guy that doesn't know sports like me. I thought it was homosexual one time because all guys were talking about sports, and I'm like, yeah, there was the Confederate Mike. What do you think of the game last night? I'm like, man, can you believe he did that? That's all I had to say. But I don't know anything about sports.
It usually works.
But I love your show. How can I like your show and not know anything about sports?
Well, we try not just to talk about sports.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, sports. It's a little slice of life. So we talk about sports and then we talk about life too.
What are you, Italian? Hey, just a little slice of life.
Well, I might be.
Hey, give me some wine.
I mean, my last name's Rose. I don't know that that's necessarily from the African side of my lineage. I have no idea where this came from. So who knows?
You realize you're the only guy at the radio station that isn't like an arch right-wing conservative. You are on some issues, and don't like Trump.
Yeah,
isn't that amazing?
Why
am I not firing you?
That is a good question. I think we all believe in the right to free speech. I imagine
no other. Trust me. Anybody that believes that, there's no other radio station in the world that if you have a differing view than your program director or the station or the management, they pretend that there's free speech, but there isn't. They all want that same line pulled, whether it's a conservative station or a left-wing station. But why are you allowed to have a different view?
Well, we're a different station, aren't we?
Why? What is our position?
Well, I believe that you just told it to me. You can disagree with what I have to say, but you'll defend my right to say it.
Position of the station is we may disagree with what you say, but we will defend to the death your right to say it. And why have we lost that in America? I see it in sports too, where somehow when the guy making several $1 million, basketball player, football, baseball player, comes out and has an opinion, they're on him like he has no right to his opinion.
Yeah,
why is that?
That guy gets fined.
Why?
And part of it is that these sports leagues and teams, they're brands. Okay. And so it's about protecting the brand. And so if you say something that makes the brand look bad, then that is something that gets you a penalty of some kind.
I heard you talking about that too. And you actually defended the man over, from what I can tell, over the player. When, as to say, because it is a brand. So you think that the man should have control over the player and what he says, does or doesn't do?
No, but at the same time, that's the employer. And so beforehand what it is that they're going to be telling you, like you can't say this, you can't say that. If you get fined, you're going to get fined.
There's a limit, like you were talking about on Facebook when you post something. There is a limit. Like if Keon Rose is found drunk in a ditch, which I doubt because you don't drink, and you're a very religious, righteous man.
And I'm also very averse to ditches.
Right. But then that's going to affect the station adversely. But I'm saying just an average opinion. It appears that modern day sports dictates that these guys have to waive their First Amendment right. They can't have an opinion on anything.
Because you can have, okay, so here's the thing. Like you can have an opinion, but it depends. Like the team's not going to fine you typically for having an opinion. It can be as crazy and outrageous as you want, but it's going to make the team look bad and maybe fans show up and protest and everything. But if you have an opinion that is deemed offensive, and again, that is decided by some third party figure.
Let's give a prime example where some crazy people actually think it's okay for a guy that thinks he's a woman to use a girl's bathroom. Anybody that thinks that is they've got to be mentally ill. Take a pill. I mean, come on. And tough sports guys are going, no, I'm not going to tolerate some guy who's 35, 40 years old who thinks he's a woman walking into a bathroom where my 14-year-old little girl is. That's going to cause, what that's going to cause? That's going to cause the police to be called after he gets his butt beat because he went into the bathroom of a little girl.
Right. And look, I'm not even saying that a player shouldn't be able to come out and say that, because I haven't followed exactly too closely who has said what, but players tweet things are on social media regularly.
I'm talking about tweeting, basically. It's not actually when I say speak. Right. Speech is Twitter, Facebook, expression.
And
It's
a lot of
mainly
guys,
when they're tweeting, they're getting into trouble.
most guys don't get into trouble. Now, Kurt Schilling, who had that meme about, and I don't even remember really the details of the meme, but it was a meme that was making fun of transgender people and that whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think you should make fun of anybody unless they're a Democrat. If you're a Democrat or a liberal, all day make fun of them. But other than that, I don't think you should make fun of
if it's something of like, when it comes to gender, that stuff is all, weird and complicated anyway, and confusing enough without anybody like poking fun at it.
I don't think you should make fun of Southerners either.
But if
Northerners make fun of them all day.
I think
they're funny anyway. I mean, come on. Just look at the way they talk.
What with
we Southerners certainly don't say down the shore, what are you guys doing? Stuff like that.
Right.
Northerners, you can just laugh at them just when they open their mouth.
Oh, in the Bronx.
But we Southerners, we call them buggies. Northerners call them carts. How silly is that?
Everybody's got different words for everything, man. And it's just a matter of going, you know what? I understand what you're saying, and I can be tolerant of what you're saying.
Did you major in psychology?
Did I? No, I did not.
You should. I think you should be a psychologist.
You want to know something about me in psychology?
Actually, why don't we make that 7-8? We'll call it instead of clutch, we'll call it much. If you have anything on your mind, you have a lot on your mind, call Keon Rose. He'll talk you through it.
I would love to, and I would like to tell people that I took Psychology 101 in college, and I got a D. Just a word of warning, just up front. Don't hold me to any advice that I give you.
Okay. Well, and that would probably be better than advice than someone with a doctorate.
Well, I mean, you got guys like Dr. Phil, who Dr. Phil actually hasn't been legally allowed to practice in like 8 years because he hasn't renewed his license. He's just operating on the name.
Dr. Phil's a caricature of himself.
Yes.
So I've been telling you, what are you doing to your mommy and daddy? Do you really believe that's the right thing to do, Keon? Do you?
I don't know. Your mustache won't stop looking at me.
Then stop doing it. Then just stop doing it.
Thank you, Dr. Phil, for that wonderful advice.
Now. You have a good day. We'll be back after this.
I think that, you're depressed. Just stop being it. Okay, Dr. Phil. Thanks. I'll get right on that.
All right. See you.
Oh, that's Confederate Mike, who very, very fun guy. If you ever get the chance to talk to him, nice guy. Loud, but nice. But I guess that's all of us radio folks. Loud people. I'd like to talk about the Atlanta Braves a little bit and Freddie Gonzalez getting fired. He just obviously was managing the worst roster in baseball. Okay. And that's the design of this team for a long-term situation, which is that the team realized with the guys that we have, we're not a championship caliber team. We're just a playoff team, which to me is a hard thing to sell. And ironically, it parallels where the Atlanta Hawks are right now. The Hawks can try and nuke their entire team. The Hawks can try and get rid of everything and everybody, just do a whole fire sale. But they're a really good team, and they're not that far away. You do need a major piece. Those things are hard to come by. Okay? In baseball, you need pitching and you need hitting. You can't blow up a team without a plan. And I talked about this yesterday. So it's interesting because the more that you get into what the Braves are doing, the more you realize like there is a plan here to this rebuild. And the plan is to get pitching and then worry about hitting later, okay? Once you secure a lot of pitching, okay, a lot of talented arms, then you can have pitching that's relatively cheap. Look at how much guys are getting paid, okay? The Nats re-upped on Strasburg for what was it, like $70 million? They gave Max Scherzer a gigantic $110 million contract. The pitching in this league, you have to pay out of your nose for it. You've got to pay a lot of money for great pitching. And what the Braves said was, we're just going to give everything away and try and get more pitching prospects. We're not going to worry about hitting just right now. We're just going to try and get more prospects. And they've got a lot of pitching. Okay, like you can see the fruition of it. Okay, the pitchers are racking up losses, but that's life when you can't hit. But the hitting will come. It's easier to get guys who can hit than it is to get guys who will pitch. It's just the nature of the market. Same thing in the NFL with quarterbacks, right? It's easier to hit on a great receiver, a great offensive lineman, a great running back. It's not so easy to get a quarterback. Those guys are harder. What you're asking them to do is slightly more difficult than what it is that you're asking everybody else to do. Not so much in basketball, it's a similar thing, right? You've got big men. Finding a talented big man who can do all the things that a big man needs to do in today's game, run up and down the floor, be able to post up when you ask him, shoot from outside, shoot from inside. You're seeing a lot of teams draft these guys. Karl Anthony Towns was the rookie of the year in the NBA. The NBA is filled with great guards. So many great guards that the value of guards kind of has gone down a little bit, right? Like Mike Conley's going to be a free agent from the Grizzlies this season. Doesn't matter. Conley is a good guard in a league filled with good guards. It's that small forward, power forward, center position that's harder to find. That's baseball's problem. Pitching is hard to find in a way that is even remotely affordable. But you can always find good hitting. And that's the nature of this rebuild that has set this team back ridiculously far. And I think, firing Freddie Gonzalez is more about his past sins than what he is currently doing or what he currently did this season as manager of the Braves. And he's made some knuckleheaded decisions. Okay. Like we cannot sit here and act like Freddie Gonzalez to be absolved of all blame. And I don't think firing him was something that they did to try and fix the team. However, when you're 9-28, that is a public relations nightmare. Heads are going to roll. My only issue with them firing Freddie Gonzalez the way that they did is if you had problems with the way the guy was managing the team before, why didn't you fire him before? You know what I mean? Like the consensus is, and I hear a lot of fans saying this, been all over the internet today, just looking at fan reactions as well as journalist reactions and players around the league reactions. And the reactions of the fans are, this is like 2 years overdue. Right? Like last year wasn't great either. And 3 years ago, you just missed the playoffs. In 2013, you lose to the Dodgers. You get bounced in 2012 in the one-game playoff. You haven't been trending up. You've been trending down. If Freddie Gonzalez was the guy at the helm for all of this, who you blame, he should have been fired before. That's my opinion on the issue. And maybe we can lob this out to Coach Reed. No, softball's not baseball, but, similar clubhouse mentalities. Maybe he might have an opinion on that issue as well. I'm super interested in what's going to happen with Brian Snitker, who has been AAA coach for the Braves. He has been promoted to interim manager for the rest of the season. I can't imagine that this doesn't fix this fixes anything, that this doesn't still result in a ton of historic losses for the Braves. But you're looking at a team that does have pitchers. The Braves stink, but you look at the youth that they've got pitching. That's solid. Okay, let's take a look at some of their pitchers here. Okay, Whistler has 5 quality starts. He's 1-3. Julio Teheran is also 1-3 in 4 of his starts. Whistler's 1-4. Sorry. When you're low scoring team, that's just the way that life works out. That you've got great pitching, and those guys aren't winning a ton of games. But they've got the 6th lowest ERA in the major leagues up to this month so far. They have a quality bunch of guys rotating, and it's just it's sad to watch them not able to actually put runs up on the board. But the runs will come, just not this season. What you can gain out of having great pitching, aside from the obvious, guys you want the other team to not be able to hit you, is that you can trade good pitching or promising pitching for the bats that you need. Okay. And I imagine that we're going to see a lot of those deals coming up when we start heading towards the trade deadline in July. The closer we get to that, the closer we're going to get to probably seeing some of the guys hitting that we're going to see. But again, as they say in economics, pitching is an inelastic good. You can't change the value of that. You need to start growing it of your own. When you get guys on rookie contracts and smaller contracts early on that don't command, the hundreds of millions of dollars that, the Nationals are probably going to pay, or the Red Sox or the Yankees or the Mets. Those teams are going to pay out the wazoo for great pitching. The Dodgers, they're going to pay a lot of money. And if you're not willing to pay that kind of money, and again, I don't see why you should have to, then you've got to grow the talent. So that's the nature of this. I just wonder about the timing of firing Freddie Gonzalez. Not that a lot of people are going to miss him because of the weird things that he did with pitching rotations. If anybody remembers him not putting Kimball in the game against the Dodgers that got them bounced from the playoffs. Dodgers ended up winning a game where, you've got one of the best relievers in baseball on your pitching staff, and you don't run him out there in the 8th inning because, to quote Freddie Gonzalez, we only pitch him in the 9th. Like, what kind of rationale is that? It was time for that guy to go. It was time for that guy to go. And again, nobody in the locker room hates him. Nobody in the locker room disliked that guy. In an interview with Freddie Freeman, who is definitely the leader of this team, Freddie Freeman basically was like, you're not going to find anybody who can say a bad thing about him. He was just dealt a terrible hand this season. Again, Freddie Gonzalez is not being fired for the things that he did this season. It's about his entire body of work, and it hasn't been super impressive when you're 1-4 in the postseason, and then you miss the playoffs one year, and this is when you were supposed to be good. Now that you're bad, nobody wants you on board with this rebuild moving forward. You're listening to AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. And we've got Coach Reed of UTC Mock Softball next.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Finding just the right place to live can be a daunting task. Stop your search. In Chattanooga, the place to live is Cross Creek Villas for under $1,000 and available for immediate move-in. You can enjoy this 2-bedroom split layout, over 1,000 square feet, 9-foot ceilings, an extra-large patio or balcony. And don't forget to ask about their preferred employer program. Cross Creek Villas is a gated community, offering a 24-hour fitness facility, a beautiful pool and hot tub, and Cross Creek Villas is pet-friendly. Stroll the pet park with your best friend and enjoy the free use of their business center and clubhouse. Plus, if you mention you heard this on the radio, your application fee is free. Cross Creek Villas, close to downtown off of Highway 58. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com. That's crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. That's 894-0446. Redefine the way you live at Cross Creek Villas. Go to crosscreekchattanooga.com or call 894-0446. Cross Creek Villas.
Just imagine not a cloud in the sky. It's the perfect day on the water. You could be enjoying boating with friends or wetting your line to catch a fish. Or maybe it's just you and that special someone on a sunset cruise. All of this without the hassle of owning a boat with your membership in the Carefree Boat Club. As you relax and spend time with the ones you care about, you have the peace of mind of knowing you're a member of the Carefree Boat Club. Weekends were made for relaxing and being hassle-free, just like the Carefree Boat Club. Let us take the worry out of boat ownership. No matter if you enjoy fishing, skiing, cruising the lake, or maybe even an overnight adventure, we have a boat for you at the Carefree Boat Club. Start making memories today. Call 423-619-7156 to join. Boating season is here, so do not wait. Call now, 423-619-7156. Carefree Boat Club is located at the Harbor Lights Marina, 9718 Hickson Pike.
Poof!
Just like a magician, Les's Pawn Shop can turn the stuff that's just lying around in your house and garage into cold, hard cash. Les's Pawn Shop on Highway 58 in Chattanooga will buy, sell, and scrap anything of value. Hey, and get this. If you're looking for anything from guns and jewelry to guitars and tools, you'll find it at Les's Pawn Shop. Quality pre-owned items. Les's Pawn Shop on Highway 58 in Chattanooga also buys gold and silver at top prices. And if they don't have it, they can order it for you. Les's Pawn Shop, Highway 58 in Chattanooga, where you'll get top dollar for your stuff. And you'll be surprised at the wide variety of our unique items. So the next time you're looking to buy, sell, trade, or scrap anything, from jewelry to coins and currency, guns and ammo, music and tools, stop by Les's Pawn Shop, 4742 Highway 58, Chattanooga. Call 702-5868. That's 702-5868. LesPawnShop.com. That's Les with one S, pawnshop.com. Poof! Just like a magician, Les's Pawn Shop can turn the stuff that's just lying around in your house and garage into cold, hard cash.
Expect some clouds and mild weather out there through the nighttime. Overnight lows only 60 to 62. For the midweek, passing clouds, an isolated shower possible, but not bad. Mainly dry through Thursday afternoon. Highs upper 70s with rain and thunder showers marching back in on Friday. Glass Farm Nursery has all the color that make your lawn and garden look great this spring and summer season. From bedding plants, hang baskets, trees, and shrubs, they have it all. That's Glass Farm, Highway 11, 4 miles south of Trenton. And I'm 1412 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. Fluoride is up for a vote tonight at a water district serving northwestern Hamilton County. The liquid acid is being put into the water to help strengthen teeth, but it costs Northwestern Utility District up to $20,000 a year, about half of which is for corrosion damage to pipes and valves. Dentists oppose the move, but critics of fluoridation say it is toxic and causes long-term neurological damage. The Tennessee Highway Patrol says that a Chevy Blazer was going eastbound on Highway 68. It tried to go around traffic by going to the westbound lane on 68 in McMinn County. The driver swerved to avoid a vehicle, lost control, and smashed into an SUV, hurling the driver and passenger out of the vehicle. The 13-year-old passenger died on the scene. None of them were wearing seatbelts, but the THP doesn't think it would have made a difference. A burglary suspect, Roger B. Stevens, is being sought after by the HCSO. They've issued warrants for his arrest, charging him with burglary, theft over $500, and theft over $1,000. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. Thank you for joining me today, giving me just a little slice of your day. You know that I appreciate you. And on the Hot News Talk Radio hotline with us is UTC softball manager, Coach Ross. Thank you for joining us today, sir. How are you doing?
It's Coach Reed. But
Coach Reed.
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, besides mispronouncing your name and calling you somebody else entirely. You have just come back from the SoCon tournament. You won a couple and lost a couple. How was the tournament?
It was a good tournament. You know, we had a little weather issues on the front end of the tournament, but you know, we knew going in we were a little bit behind as far as that goes because of the injuries. We had, you know, as many as 11 injuries over the year, and we had a couple. You know, we had 3 kids that you know should have been playing that couldn't play because of that, and you know, got people moved around in different positions. But, you know, we fought hard. You know, it's a great team. We got some great people coming back. I was really proud of them at the end of the day. You know, they consider in softball, they consider a 40-game win season a success. We had 30. You know, we were 10 short of that, but we had 10 one-run games and, you know, probably had another 5 or 6 that we probably should or could have won. And so, you know, in considering the situation they were in with their injuries, I thought, all in all, it was a fairly successful season. You know, we had some great plays by some of the people that were going to be coming back. In particular, Amanda Beltran is one of our freshmen from California. She hit 500 for the tournament, hit 3 home runs, a grand slam the first time up, I think, and had like 9 RBIs. So we were excited about her her thing. She'll be our starting catcher next year. And so she's a lot to build for the future. It's tough when you get beat up every day, and you're finding out you have a new injury, every day. But the kids fought hard. One thing that a lot of people at the tournament that didn't even know me commented to me after that your team has so much fight, and and that's all you can ask for them to go out and do every day. And that's UTC softball. I've been there 15 years, and we've won it 9 or 10 times, and so it's disappointing when we don't win it. But it gives us a chance to work on some things in the off season and get our new kids in, and we're excited about that.
You mentioned the injuries. How much did injuries play a part over the course of this season?
Well, just to give you an idea about that, we had a starting infield set back in February, and it wasn't but a few weeks in that the starting infield that we would have put out there, we were down to one person that would have been a starter for us in the infield.
Oh,
wow. We
wow.
lost our first baseman, we lost our shortstop, we lost our third baseman, and so at shortstop, we had somebody that's backing up there, backing up at first, and backing up at third, and then our first and third baseman were injured also, and so they were trying to practice with injuries during the week, and then play, during the weekends. And then our one of our pitchers got injured. She was a pitcher of the month in February, and then she didn't pitch at all in March because of being out for an injury. So and then we had another one of our pitchers get injured, and she was able to come back later on. But just battling through that, I remember getting off the bus at Tennessee Tech for midweek, and there was a virus running through the athletic department, and we were counting ahead as they got off the bus just to see if we had enough to play. And so that's sort of been our situation, and for us to fare as well as we did, I think it's a feather in the cap of the kids and how hard they worked. And I'm excited about the new team coming in. You hate to see the old ones go. We had 5 seniors that all graduated. I think 4 of those seniors had 4.0 GPAs.
Oh, wow.
It's a good day at UTC softball. We didn't have the results that we wanted, but you rest assured that that's not going to hamper us moving forward.
And you can always be proud of the fight that the team put up. Especially, I was looking at the results from the tournament, and I imagine because of the injuries that the offense struggled during the season. I was looking through the stats of the season, but you guys generated some offense in that tournament.
We did. The last month and a half of the season, we were hitting at about 260, a little 265 clip, going through most of the middle part of the season there. Obviously we struggled with the injuries, but we raised our team batting average over 40 points. I think we ended up right at 300 for the team, and then if you hit 300 as a team, that's considered really, really good. And so we raised it up there over the last few weeks, or 6 weeks, and so I was excited about that. The kids never gave up, and they knew that they could find. I think one of the reasons for that is some of the kids that we were actually having to play out of position got a little bit more comfortable as they got more reps and more opportunities to compete on the defensive side, and then that factored over into the offensive side once they got more comfortable. I think at the beginning of that, just trying to stress over the defense, stress over the offense, that was just a little more sometimes than some of the younger kids could deal with. But once they got more comfortable on the defensive side, I think you saw a pickup in the offense. And I think that was a tribute to them because they knew what it took to get there, and they continue to work.
I hear you. Besides Amanda Beltran, which group of players, I guess, are you excited for seeing return next season?
Well, we're excited about getting Jordan Hamill back. She would have been a sophomore this year because she'll redshirt now. She's our starting shortstop, and we're excited about getting her back and healthy. She broke a bone in her hand. We're excited for her. Jordan Fortell played really well for us. She's a freshman that came in, pitched and hit for us, played outfield. She's another exciting player. We got some great play out of Katie Coram and Ashley Connor. Both of those kids played out of position. One a freshman and one a redshirt freshman. So we're excited about that. And then Melissa Coppinger in the outfield. We actually used her in the outfield some, and we used her in the infield some as shortstop. So she was all over the place, I think. But she's got some speed, got a really strong arm. So we can't wait to get her out here and back and get her set in a position where we really, really want to keep her and not having to move her around. But we lost a catcher, Anissa Robles. She was our catcher for 4 years, caught a ton of games. I don't think she caught every game but one this year, every game but one last year. So we're losing her, but we're hoping Amanda Beltran can come up and take that over. Amanda's a strong kid, so she'll do a good job there. It's just that communications with the pitcher, back to the coaches, and those types of things. But we got a good base to build on. We got some great kids coming in. We're bringing in a middle, and a couple of really speedy outfielders and a power hitting outfielder. So we feel like we're looking good. We just and actually bringing in a couple more pitchers. So we can't wait to get them back out there on the field. Summer goes fast. You think you got a long time before you start, but it'll be August before you know it, and we'll be back at it.
This is Clutch with Keon Rose. You're listening to UTC softball Coach Reed on the show with us today. Coach, what was your favorite moment from last season?
Favorite moments? It's hard. You'd think that I wouldn't have a lot of favorite moments considering, we just had the 30 wins, but just see the team come together at the end and the camaraderie they had, just individual moments to see a player like Amanda Beltran come in, didn't get to work out with us in the fall, but came in the spring and just grow. To see her hit a walk-off home run, not a walk-off, but see her hit a grand slam home run, in the conference tournament, and just obviously one of the best kids playing there, and then missed all the fall, and so just see those types of moments, see our freshmen, to grow and have to play out of position. It just, but I think most importantly, it was just the camaraderie with the team. Teams are teams. Each one takes on a different personality. This team, just loved each other. They played hard. No drama, just getting out there and getting after it every day. And, it's just to see them develop into the young ladies. But another exciting thing for us, we had a 3-4 something GPA the first semester. And, we put them out there on the field and we're going through all these injuries, all the things, all the stress. They still pulled a GPA equivalent to that, in the fall. So, the spring. So, those types of things, just see them, progress as players and students. It's always exciting to see that.
I'm glad to hear that. That is actually really hard to do. I didn't have nearly that much extra curricular activities, and my GPA still not as great as all that. You said that the team came together near the end of the season. I hear all the time about, momentum from one season to the next. Is that something that you believe in?
Yeah, I do. And it takes on a different look depending on, we're losing 5 strong seniors. And so we're going to have to replace those. And, we only have 2 seniors that are going to graduate this next year. So, that's going to be a whole different look because, they're not going to, the freshmen coming in are not going to have that, those as many upperclassmen to look up to, spread out over different positions. So it's going to be a little different. But what we want to see now is we want to see our juniors be like seniors and our sophomores be like juniors and so on and so forth, and get those freshmen. After a few weeks, we want to see them go to, acting and playing and being like a sophomore, after they've been there for a while. So it's going to be a little different look for us. I don't think we've graduated that many before, but we've never had that few coming up. So in the senior role, so that's going to be a little different. I think coaches will have to take on a little bit different role too, and trying to make leadership. We always do that, but sometimes it's nice when the players take that role. But we're excited. I think the talk around after our team meetings, our individual meetings on Monday, all the players were excited about we're excited about getting a chance to spend some time with their parents, but and get home. But they're also excited about, can't wait to get back. Already talking about working out and their workout programs and doing the things that they're going to be doing over the summer to prepare themselves to be better. And we've challenged each one of them, so I'm excited to see what they come back and look like.
This is Clutch with Keon Rose here on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. On the phone with us is Coach Reed, the UTC Mocs softball coach, just come back from the SoCon tournament. You said you've been with the team for 15 years. The Braves just fired manager Freddie Gonzalez, who'd been with that team forever. Can you, in some way, empathize with a guy in that position?
Yeah, I can see that. Freddie, at one point, that's who they wanted. That's who the fans wanted. The people in the boardroom, that's who they wanted. And sometimes you have a string of bad luck. Things going, you don't get off to a great start, and and you don't sometimes know why that is, and you can't put your finger on it. I'm sure he's not doing a whole lot of different things as he had done when he won. My thinking too is, you're only as good, especially in baseball. I say that a lot in college sports too, but you're only as good as the team that money can buy. So, I'm not sure about, all the players that he has there, if they're just the right ones to be able to be successful. You don't know what could be chemistry. It could be a lot of things going on in that organization. But, knowing them like I know them, they're not going to be there long, and I'm not sure that, changing the manager is going to make a whole lot of difference, that the chemistry and that kind of thing stay the same. But sometimes I guess they feel like they have to make a change, thinking that they're going to move in the right direction. But he's a great coach. He's done a great job over the years. I'm sure he's going to land somewhere. Somebody's going to grab him up, and just like they do when they trade off players. So I can emphasize with him. I'm sure you've been somewhere that long. You're pretty much a Braves guy. It's going to be probably hard for him to put on another uniform somewhere else. But that's what baseball's become over the years. So we'll see where he lands, and we'll talk about this again in a year. You call me back in a year from now. Let's see where Freddie's doing.
Absolutely. So I have a just one question, which is because I know that there are differences between softball and baseball, but I am not super familiar with those differences, mostly because the two sports look very similar to me. If I sit down and watch softball, I don't feel like I don't understand what's happening. What's the difference between softball and baseball that maybe people might not be aware of?
Well, it is very similar. One of the things, of course, you're throwing it back a little further, on the mound, on this raised mound to give it more power, going forward. They're throwing it overhand, and they're generating a lot more speed from that. But we're at 43 feet for softball. It's obviously underhanded. So a softball player is going to see a lot of. They can see down pitches, but it's coming at just a little, an angle from the lower part of the body, where baseball's, everything's down. You don't see a lot of rise balls. So the softball player is having to deal with a ball that can, go up, in or out or down, just like baseball. But baseball doesn't throw that much, so they're always sort of looking down. One of the things that a lot of people don't know is 100-mile-an-hour baseball reaction time is equivalent to about a 62 or 63-mile-an-hour softball. So that's a norm for us to see people throwing at 62, 63. So our reaction time from 43 feet is less than what they're going to have, somebody that's throwing maybe a reliever coming in and zipping a 100-mile-an-hour fastball at them. So, it just shows you the skill of the female athlete to be able to hit it. And I'm sure you've seen some video and stuff of female pitchers throwing to professional baseball players. They have a very, very difficult time of hitting it. When you throw it, 63, 64, and then they come back with a changeup at 30, 35. So that's the big difference. The bases are a little closer, and so that introduces the slapper to our game, where there's a lot of bunting and slapping, where they can, you can actually slap a ball to a shortstop who fills it cleanly and makes a throw, but still can't get the runner out because the runner is a 2-7 down the line. So it has to be really quick. So I think the speed in the game and the infield's a little quicker, where you can see a ball, hit to a baseball guy, he's got a little bit more time to react and get the throw across there, and still get there in plenty of time. So, but basically the rules are sort of the same. It's how we're getting outs, and and the philosophies of the game are the same. The hitting's definitely different. A lot of the fielding things are the same. How you technique of fielding and those things.
Oh, that makes a ton of sense. Coach, thank you for joining me today on the show. Congratulations on what you've been able to overcome this season, despite all of the injuries and all of the things that worked against you. And hopefully you have continued success going into the future.
Yeah, I'm sure we've got some great kids, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the show, and hope all your constituents and friends get a chance to get out and watch the Lady Mock softball in the future. We'll be back at it here in just a few months in August, have some fall games, so we look forward to maybe some new people coming out.
All right. Before the fall games start, we'd love to have you back on if you're game for that.
That's fine. Just get in touch with our info department, and we'll be glad to jump back in there and talk to you a little bit more about softball.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
That is Coach Reed. I said Ross to start the interview. If they still did radio licenses, they'd revoke mine. What is that? Coach Reed for the UTC Mocs softball. We're going to see them return in the fall, and then hopefully we can have him back on. That was a great interview. I enjoyed doing that. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. Thank you for joining me today, giving me just a little slice of your time. I'd like to talk about the NBA playoffs just a little bit, just a teensy tiny bit. They've got a game tonight between the Cavs and the Raptors, and I hear the question being wafted out there. And I saw it again today. CBS Sports. I have the CBS Sports app. That's my favorite of the sporting apps. I tried them all out. That's the one that I like the best. It's the one that gives you the most information with the least interruption of your life. ESPN, they get a little abrasive there, a little pushy with their information. But they floated me the story about the Cavs and the Raptors. Can the Raptors beat the Cavs in a 7-game series? The answer to that question is no. It's just no. Can the Cavs and the Raptors be an entertaining series? Now, that's a better question. And yeah, I think it could be an entertaining series. You're going to have some bad games from the Cavs have to happen for that to happen. And you're going to need the Raptors to play great in those games in which Cleveland plays terribly. But it could be an entertaining series. If we see the Kyle Lowry of the last 3 games, yeah, we can do a lot better. If we see usual postseason Kyle Lowry, I've got the yips because now I'm in the playoffs. Yeah, that's not an entertaining series. That's a sweep. And it's hard to argue for this being an entertaining series. The Raptors don't have Jonas Valanciunas, and it just looks difficult. It's an uphill battle for them, most certainly. They can't win the series, okay? I don't want to be like, it stinks to just write people off before the series even happens, but like, Cleveland is head and shoulders above the rest of the Eastern Conference, and it's such a large margin. I don't see how Toronto wins this in any way, but it is kind of interesting because I like all the free agency stories that have been floating around as stories in this postseason. Kevin Durant is going to be a free agent. He's probably not leaving. LeBron is going to be a free agent. And I was talking to my brother about this, huge basketball fan. He joins us on the show occasionally. Might even have him on tomorrow if things get interesting with Cleveland and Toronto. But here's the thing. LeBron might actually leave. It's weird to say that because LeBron is the big PR guru, but LeBron James does not like losing. Okay, he clearly doesn't like losing. He hasn't done tons of it in his life. And what LeBron has managed to do to the Cleveland Cavaliers is tailor a roster directly to him. And that roster is going to look good only with him. If LeBron James doesn't feel like this roster can win, why would he stay? Because you're not going to be able to just switch and swap pieces whenever you feel like. Why would he stick around? LeBron James might be the one surprise guy who could just bounce. He's holding his cards very close to his chest. You don't see a guy like Kevin Durant leaving. He's a free agent. DeMar DeRozan could actually leave Toronto. So there you go. That's another thing. But the advantage is always to the team retaining the player to keep that guy, with the restrictions in free agency. And it was interesting because I was talking to Coach Reed about that for baseball. And baseball doesn't have a group of guys that you can say, yeah, I like these guys and I've liked these guys for 5 or 6 years, and you follow a guy. Like, trades happen all the time in baseball, free agency signings happen all the time, and there's not the loyalty to the players that you used to have previously. And I think that's a great point by Coach Reed, but it also applies to basketball. The basketball gives the advantage to the team to retaining a player. So it's easier to find a guy to be the face of your franchise in the NBA than it is in baseball. With that said, LeBron James goes wherever he pleases. He's got that lifetime deal with Nike, that's going to be netting him up to his business partner, Maverick Carter, estimates to be $1 billion. Just $1 billion deal from Nike. So he's probably right about that. And LeBron James can go wherever he wants. Like, money is not an issue for him. Okay. For him, it's just about being paid what he thinks he's worth. The team paying LeBron doesn't matter. Okay. Thank you for listening to AM 1240 on News Talk Radio Clutch with Keon Rose. Thank you, Coach Reed, for joining us today and giving us just some time to talk. Thank you for listening. And please join us tomorrow. And for the rest of this week, we've got some more interesting interviews lined up and planned. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Shake, shake, shake it at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. The most delicious and unique milkshakes. How about this for delicious and different? Add freshly cooked bacon to any milkshake.
Is that even legal?
You bet your milkshake and booty it is. Chocolate caramel bacon shake. Coffee caramel shake. All hand blended. Shake, shake, shake it. Down at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Just about any flavor shake that you can imagine. And they are delicious. Get your shake, shake, shake on at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Five Guys Burgers and Fries, located in Hickson at North Point. Gun Barrel at the Walmart Center. Downtown 4th and Broad. And in Cleveland at Keith and Stewart.
Do you feel better outside your home or business than in? Indoor air quality is important. Mildew, mold, smoke, water, and rodent damage are prime causes of poor indoor air quality. Ducts Indoor Air Professionals, better known as Duct Busters, cleans HVAC systems using 127 definable Duct Busters steps. Let Mark Thompson address the indoor air quality at your business to help reduce employee illnesses. Prevent fires by cleaning your dryer vents. Mark and his parents, Dick and Joan Thompson, have been building our local economy and helping local people with HVAC systems 16 years. Ducts Indoor Air Professionals. Call 876-9907. 876-9907. Ducks. Call now.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Rick Davis is sitting on a mountain of cash, and he wants to give it to you. Hey, it's a fair trade for unwanted coins, diamonds, bracelets, antiques, silver flatware, pocket and wristwatches, pins and jewelry. It's so high that mountain of cash is nearly as tall as a billboard. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, paying you top dollar for your valuables. Turn them into cold, hard cash. See Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds now. Brainerd Road near Eastgate Town Center. Cash, 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 and more cash. Unlimited streaming, T-Mobile. No overages. T-Mobile. Get the latest Samsung smartphones. T-Mobile. No credit check required. T-Mobile. Let's set the record straight on coverage. T-Mobile has the best coverage in the Chattanooga area. For a limited time, get 50% off a Samsung tablet when you buy a select Samsung Galaxy smartphone. Only at T-Mobile. T-Mobile, doing data differently. T-Mobile. Unlimited streaming. No overages. T-Mobile. Route 153 Hickson. Next to Starbucks. Open till 8. Call 876-9022. That's 876-9022 for T-Mobile.
Our house in the middle of our street.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Sabrina with Sabrina Realty Associates. Now is a great time to sell your home. In our area, inventory is at an all-time low, which translates into higher sales prices. Call us today at 423-499-7780 to set up a free consultation and discuss our unique and aggressive marketing programs. We will provide you with a free market analysis to determine the right value of your home. Call us today at 423-499-7780 or visit our website at SabrinaRealty.com.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.
Will Bernie Sanders win 2 more primaries?
The betting at the moment is that Bernie Sanders does very well in Oregon. Kentucky is a little more up in the air.
In Washington,
the White House and Congress continue to spar over Zika funding. I'm Pam Coulter.
This is the CBS World News Roundup, late edition. I'm Bill Whitney. The polls just closed in Kentucky, where Democrats made their choice today.
I voted for Bernie. I think he's the real deal.
I voted for Bernie because I like the idea of getting money out of politics.
Secretary Clinton, because she is the right woman for the job. And I admire her, always have, and I believe in what the Democratic Party stands for.
Sanders is trying to tamp down expectations that he'll win both of today's contests. In Kentucky, he says he's facing stiff competition.
Secretary Clinton is apparently spending a lot of money and a lot of time in Kentucky. I think she understands the state is in play. My guess it's going to be a close election.
Even if Sanders does win both, CBS News political director John Dickerson says Clinton's delegate lead is daunting.
It's like in a baseball game. If one team's up by 20 runs and the other team gets a couple of home runs, it's exciting, but it still means that they're down by 18 runs.
Oregon Republicans are also voting, adding to Donald Trump's delegate count. In a new financial disclosure form filed with the Federal Election Commission, Trump claims a net worth of more than $10 billion. Congress will approve some funding to fight the Zika virus. The question is, how much?
The Senate advanced a $1.1 billion Zika bill, about half of what the administration requested. And spokesman Josh Earnest said a $622 million House plan would face a presidential veto.
It is woefully insufficient.
Texas Senator John Cornyn said public health is important, but so is the budget.
We can also be fiscally responsible.
Fellow Republican Marco Rubio, whose state of Florida could be among the hardest hit by Zika, wants full funding.
If this becomes a serious